Hey guys, we're gonna play this, and if I remember correctly, this is called Say a Song. It's an indie game. Ignore my background. This game is a windowed game, and there's no way for me to make it bigger, and if there is, I'm an idiot. So I have this lovely background of Senri. Vampire Knight here for you guys. So we're gonna play this game. It's, I guess, a visual novel. And this will be a blind, I guess, playthrough. I've never played this. Believe it or not, I googled indie horror games. This is what I got, so we're gonna start. This story is a work of fiction. The medical procedures and conditions described are all imaginary and completely unrelated to medical something. I didn't read that. Many grotesque images appear in... Whoa! Whoa! Can't read that. Do not modify them. Three such creatures are sitting around a table in front of me, slurping filthy sludge from their cups. As they trade whines, growls, and sounds that I can hardly describe. By listening carefully, I am able to grasp the gist of their conversation. This allows me to barely avoid arousing their suspicion. I can stay out of it as long as they are just talking among themselves, but I can't ignore them if they speak to me, however they may look. They are my friends, apparently. I want to deny it, of course, but I gave up on that a long time ago. Each night I went to sleep wishing that this would turn out to be a nightmare. Each morning I awoke yet to find the world was just as horribly warped as it was the day before. I have to live with them blending in, while acting like one of them, just as I've done these past 3 months. I will continue to do for the rest of my life. Judging by this tone, this one must be Koji. And the one next to him, skilling more than the others, is probably Umi? Oyumi. Which means that the one next to me must be Yo, though I can no longer see any trace of her once refined features. I try my best to ignore the rotten stench and the excrement that issues from her quivering flesh. Everything is changed completely. While everything appears different in front of me, my relationship to our world alone is the same. These creatures were part of the same college club as me, and we used to be pretty good friends. We even went skiing every winter break. Now these are but fond memories of the days that I will never return. If only everyone, including my friends, had forgotten about me, I might have been able to disconnect myself from this world. It would have been comforting, in comparison, to believe that I have been abducted by aliens and taken off to a different planet or something. However, this is definitely Japan, on planet Earth. This is the city where I was born and raised. The society that I was a part of for 20 odd years. But I and I alone can no longer see it that way. No longer can I recognize the world. I have no place that I can call home. But just then, "Hey, Fuminori," one of the flesh limps says as it swivels its bloodshot eyes toward me. "What do you think?" "About what?" I desperately try to suppress my loathing and behave normally, but my hoarse voice ruins the attempt. We're talking about this year's skiing trip. You're coming too, right?" A slimy hole near the top of the creature withers, nauseatingly, as it vomits some sibilance of words. Ah, so that must be Koji's head, face, and mouth, or rather, what I would have seen there 3 months ago. I don't know. Unable to bring myself to look at it, I avert my eyes and give a neutral answer. "You have any other plans?" "Not really." Koji was one of my best friends, as everyone else here. They were all precious to me, and one of them even desired to be more than just friends. How many nights have I spent crying in loneliness, lamenting on the friends who no longer exist. 3 months I cried myself dry, and now there is only loathing left in me, surrounded by fleshy creatures that I can only assume are Koji, Omi, and Yo. I spend each day trying to act like I always have. If I fail at this, I'll probably be sent back to the hospital. But this time, I'll be locked away forever, no matter what. I mustn't let that happen. Hey, it's not like physical activity could affect your injuries, right? I'm not sure. I'll ask the doctor during my checkup. At my limit, I can't look at them or listen to their terrible voices any longer. Losing my patience, I jump to my feet. Hey, Fuminori. A spray of stingy slime from the cilia wriggles around its voice box. It flies towards me. I try to cover myself, but it's too late to keep the slime from splattering across my face, like a yolk from a rotten egg. I'm on the verge of losing it. I want to grab a chair, a desk, anything within reach, and use it to smash the life out of these creatures, ending it all. I barely suppress the impulse. I have to avoid arousing their suspicion. However they look at me. This is their world. I'm an outsider here. Like I said, today's my checkup. I have to go. I try to fake smile. I'm not sure if it works. Reaching towards my wallet, I pull out the first bill I find and put it on the table without looking at it. It's probably enough for the drink I ordered, but I don't care about the change. I just want to get out of here as fast as possible. Later. I leave, quite literally running for my life. Quite literally. Durr. I'm not crazy. Hey, says Takahata Oyumi. Why don't we go somewhere with skating for this year's ski trip? Two Scuba Yo frowns at the suggestion. Skating? Why go to a ski resort to skate? Give her a break. to su- She's been into skating recently. Kyoji supports Yumi with a laugh. Her sudden statements are nothing new. It's Koji's role as her boyfriend to provide backup. Yo, they seem like a good match for each other. Sometimes it makes her jealous. I mean, she got started pretty late. Hey! Is it so strange that I've never been skating before? I don't think there are many first-time skaters in their 20s these days. I was kinda scared when I was little. Those shoes seemed like knives to me. But you were able to just start skating. That's pretty amazing. Yumi-chan. It's not very different from skiing, after all. You keep your weight forward and use the angle of your shoes to steer. That's what he said, so I took his word for it and gave it a try. It was fun. But you were able to just start skating? That's pretty... Oh. Sorry. So... Oh, so it's a date. Yo feels a stab of envy. Koji and Yumi enjoy their time together like normal. I overdo. That's certainly not something to be jealous of. It's just that Yo's luck has been bad. I want to see Ayumi can. Ayumi-chan. Skating too. Yo keeps her voice upbeat, trying to cover her inner conflict. Yo knows that she mustn't be envious or blame luck. She has to be a special person too. It's because of the terrible tragedy that befell him that he doesn't spend any time with her. His true misfortune, the sort that makes the unluckiness in pale comparison. So how about it? If we make the next skating trip too, it'll be twice as fun. But you can skate at the skating rink, can't you? Why go all the way to a ski resort? I don't want to skate indoors. I want to be outside, where I can skate on a lake or something. Will it be that easy? I think it'll be pretty crowded. While speaking, Yo sneaks a sideways glance at him. Although the conversation has only involved Koji and with Yo supporting their lively banter, there are clearly two couples sitting in at the cafeteria table. In other words, Yo's boyfriend, though there's still some doubt over whether he could be called that, also sitting with them. Hey, Fuminori, what do you think? Maybe he sensed the pain in Yo's heart, in his usual quiet and considerate way. About what? The cause of Yo's distress. Sakisaka Fuminori responds to Koji's sudden query with a vague, mumbled question of his own. We're talking about this winter ski trip. You're coming too, right? Koji speaks gingerly, as though probing a tumor. A few months ago, he wouldn't have hesitated to firmly rebuke Fuminori for his attitude. Their long acquaintance had forged a friendship that needed no restraint. I don't know, Fuminori responds bluntly, his downcast eyes sullen demeanor making it clear that he has no desire to break the silence. Do you have other plans? Not in particular. Even Koji, who should be Fuminori's best friend, cannot communicate with him as he could before. It should go without saying that Yo can't find a thing to say. The scars left by the events of that late summer day are still deep months later. Each one of the four bears them, not only Fuminori. Hey, it's not like physical activity could affect your injuries, right? I'm not sure. I'll ask the doctor during my checkup. As though that answer drained the last of his patience, Fuminori bolts out of his chair. Hey, Fuminori! Even Koji can't keep his voice from rising a little as he tries to stop Fuminori from leaving. Fuminori reacts swiftly, throwing his hands over his face as though he's trying to shield himself from something terrifying. Maybe some spittle flew inadvertently from Koji's mouth, but that's the sort of thing that happens occasionally during everyday conversation. At least there wasn't even enough spit for Yo to see clearly. Certainly nothing you'd need to frantically protect yourself from. Even if you spit on, Fuminori's reaction was extremely unpleasant. Like I said, Fuminori snaps, making no attempt to relieve discomfort from his friends. Today's my checkup. I have to go. Even as he tosses money onto the table, presumably to pay for his coffee, he acts like he's touching something filthy. Later. Oh, so this is like the same scene that just kind of happened, but without the sacks of flesh. With a... excuse that is my little brother. With a hurried stride that makes it seem as though he's running away from Fuminori leaves the cafeteria. Still cloaked in heavy silence, the remaining three lower their gazes to the table, where there is an abandoned 10,000 yen bill sways forlornly? Sure! Looking closely, they see that Fuminori's coffee is untouched. Umi sighs. I can't take this anymore. But Koji shakes his head reproachfully. I think Fuminori just needs a little more time. But it's been 3 months. What's with his attitude? I feel like I'm going crazy hanging around with him. Hey. I don't get it either. I don't think there's any way I can. Can you imagine what it'd be like to lose your family in such a horrible way that it'd screw anyone up? It was a tragedy that could have happened to anyone. The tractor trailer flipped over, crushing the Saka family's car into twisted scrap. They said that it had been difficult to tell the corpses of Fuminori's mother and father apart. For a while, it looked like if there was no hope for Fuminori's survival, that he was able to leave the hospital and return to his life in nothing short of a miracle. He was worse when I went to see him in the hospital, remember? He was terrified of us, like he didn't know who we were and freaked out so bad to be tied. He had to be tied to the bed. I'm just glad he's made it this far. There's still something strange about him. What's with the way he looks at us? Like we're not human. Cut it out, Umi. Koji says forcefully, his hands restrained, probably less out of empathy for his friend than out of consideration for Yo. While Kuji's kindness makes her happy, Yo also knows that, as Kuji says, she mustn't depend on it. Fuminori is the victim. He was one of the most deserves the most sympathy. Yo's feelings for Fuminori are her problem, and no one else's. She doesn't blame Fuminori for not responding to her immediately after she worked up the courage to confess to him. In fact, she thinks even more fondly of him. His serious consideration for his feelings would have given a quick, casual answer. Assuming that, just because Fuminori didn't turn Yo down, that they're essentially a couple. Koji and Umi have plenty of fun at their expense. However, he still hasn't given her an answer. After revealing her feelings to him, Yo didn't see Fuminori again till a week later, and then she could only stare at his severely wounded body through the window of an ICU. And when he was finally released, after 50 days that seemed like an eternity, he was somehow different. She started to doubt that he even remembers what she confessed to him before the accident. Now winter is coming, with her feelings still hanging in the air. Save! There we go. Thank you for watching. This is actually kind of interesting. If you like it, give it a like, comment of how much I suck at reading and pronunciation of Japanese names, or Korean, or whatever, Chinese. So, I'll see you later, probably tomorrow. Stay awesome, my Tinders.